Hello, my name is Lauren, and I've got some big changes happening soon in my life, including the birth of my first child and moving from California to England. So I thought before all these changes, I'd show you a typical week in my life working as a substitute teacher, volunteering with animal rescues, and working as a part-time YouTuber living in San Diego. I work almost every Monday. I mentioned in a previous video that I was a teacher, but I've stepped back just to doing some substitute teaching, which I actually really love because it gives me a lot of flexibility and I have a little bit of a hand still in teaching. Good morning and welcome to my car. With substitute teaching, a lot of times I get assigned work, so sometimes in like 1 week I know that I have already been assigned to work at this school, in this classroom, this grade, and so on. Other times I may not have work scheduled, and so I'm just kind of on call. I get calls from about 6 a.m. I really hate doing those ones because then I have to arrange for the dog walker to come in and walk Strider. So I really love to have the jobs that are set in advance. Okay, so when I got to the classroom this morning, the teacher was actually in there. She's conducting tests on campus today, so she was like doing some preparations and just kind of in the classroom. And as well, there were other students in there, so I couldn't really film a lot this morning. I only had about 2 minutes of an empty classroom to film a few little snippets before some students started coming in for first period. So basically I work for a company that's like a third-party company. It's not through like the county or anything. And I work in charter schools mainly. The charter schools have contracts with the company that I work for, and they're the ones that provide all of the different jobs. So I go through my company and then I get jobs based off of that. How I start my day is I always get to the school about half an hour early. That gives me time to get settled in, get onto campus, park, find the classroom. The schools that I work at are really, really good at always providing really clear instructions with what the teachers want, what the lesson plans are. So I normally don't have any problems. It's only been a couple times where I've got to a classroom and there's been nothing and I have to kind of scramble and make up a lesson plan on the spot. But thankfully, since I've been a teacher before, that's something that I can do. I don't love doing it, but I can do that if necessary. So what I do is I get to the school, I go check in with the substitute kind of liaison, and they tell me where I'm going to be going. I get keys for the classroom. I also get a packet with all of the students' names. And then I get to the classroom, I get set up. I always start by writing my name on the board as well. I always start the class by explaining what they're going to be doing, and then I call roll afterwards. I always find that it's better just to explain what they're doing first, and then while I'm calling attendance, they can go ahead and start on their work. Kind of a cool thing is that substitutes also get planning periods, just like a normal teacher would. Obviously, I have nothing to plan for, so it's one of my favorite times to be a substitute. So this is the time where I actually get some work done for YouTube. Depending on the day, I might sit outside in some picnic tables, and depending on the school. Some of the schools have some really nice libraries. I'll go to the library and I'll sit in there and work. Just for today, because I'm filming, I thought it'd just be easier to go to my car. So right now I'm on my planning period, which means that I have an hour to get some other work done. So I'm going to go ahead and use that time now. After that will be third period, so I'll be back into the classroom. Okay, so it is now lunchtime and kind of a weird one today. The teacher was doing testing on site, like I said, and she finished early, so I got to finish early as well. So that was nice. Doesn't always happen that way. I went to go check in with the substitute liaison, and she really didn't have anything else for me to do, so I'm being sent home, which is awesome. I've only been here for 5 hours, but I'm getting paid for a full day, like full 8.5-hour days. I definitely normally spend an entire day at the school, but I guess for today, they just didn't need me anywhere else, so I'm heading home. Sorry there wasn't very much to film. For the most part, there were always students in the classroom. So yeah, this was kind of just an average day. Like I said, normally my days don't end this quickly, but I am going to take it whenever I possibly can. So I took the day off work on Tuesday because I had a doctor's appointment in the morning and I planned to film a video in the afternoon. I try not to take time off for YouTube stuff very often because it doesn't pay nearly the amount I make from teaching, but since I had a doctor's appointment, I could fit it in filming on that day. I also just bought a little light to film with, so I was looking forward to setting it up and playing with it, especially since it was raining. So it was a perfect opportunity to get the light set up. It's a few hours later. I went to my doctor's appointment, and since then the sun has come out. I had like everything all set up and ready to film for my video, and now I've realized that I need to change the lighting. I also found like the filter that goes on the light. I didn't realize there was one. That makes a lot more sense, so the light isn't so strong. So I'm glad that I found that before filming. Probably gonna have to change this whole setup that I've already done just so that I can get the light right, because now it's like bright sunshine outside. So I've got a lot more light to work with, which is great. And I still think this is just kind of fun, like playing around and kind of learning different lighting techniques. So hopefully this will look nice on the video. Okay, so it's 2 hours later, and I don't even think this video is going to be that long. Whenever I film like these information videos, I always just feel like I don't want to leave out anything, because whenever editing Lauren goes back and looks through all the footage, I'm always like, oh, I should have said this, or ooh, I should have said that. And I'm trying to get more into voiceovers, but I'm having a hard time like incorporating voiceovers into like information type videos where I'm sitting down. So I'm really just careful about including like all of the information. And so I feel like I talked over points to death, and so I really hope that I included everything. But now I'm going to take some thumbnail pics. I like to do that at the same time that I'm filming the main portion. So basically I'm just dressed in the same way that I am in the video, and that way when somebody clicks on it, they know that it's going to be like the same kind of content that they clicked on. I'm still learning this whole YouTube thing, but I think I'm getting better with it. I used to film videos and almost every single time forget to do the thumbnails until I was done editing, and then I was like, oh, I don't have a thumbnail. And then it'd be a massive pain to go back and try and think of some kind of thumbnail and like have to style myself in the same way and wear the same clothes and do all this in order to get the same thumbnail. So I think I'm getting better with it. Now I know whenever I film the main portion, I do the thumbnail at the same time. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And I feel a little bit like a model because now I got some lights to go with my shots. So hopefully it'll give some good lighting for the thumbnail shots. Thumbnail is done, and I know that there's got to be a better way of me doing the thumbnail rather than just setting up like my phone with a self timer. There has to be a better way. I'll find it eventually, but for now that seems to work just fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and have a snack. Then I'm gonna be heading to the grocery store, which is also important that you eat before you go to the grocery store. So I've got a couple grocery stores I need to go to, and I'm probably gonna head to one of my favorite thrift stores that I've been enjoying going to and getting different maternity stuff. Oh, that sucks. I did stop and pick up some diapers that someone was giving away on my Buy Nothing group. They're like size 1. I'm just gonna get a whole bunch of different sizes of diapers. I have absolutely no idea like what size the baby's gonna be when it's here. I also want to get reusable diapers eventually. They're really expensive, and even for like used ones, they're really expensive, which is fine. I was thinking until I like get settled and move into the UK, maybe I should just stick with disposable diapers, because for a lot of that time I'm not going to be near like a wash machine anyway. I'm going to be kind of in and out of hotels, going to be traveling, going to be staying with family, and maybe it'd just be easier for that time just to use disposable diapers. Starting to like build up some diaper supply, and I'm doing it for free, which is great. Wednesday is one of my 2 volunteer days for the week. For the last 3 years, I've volunteered at a horse rescue center. The rescue mainly has horses, but also has donkeys, mini donkeys, goats, and roosters. They all have different stories of how they ended up at the rescue, and if you're interested, I'll put the link to the website which tells their individual stories. Mainly my job when I'm volunteering is feeding, prepping hay, mucking out stalls, and generally just caring for them. Because there's not a ton of land for them to roam, they get brought down in small groups every day and use the arenas to run around and play for a few hours. So it's a lot of leading horses or donkeys around from one area to the other. It's extremely physical, so to be honest, it's been the hardest physical thing that I've continued to do throughout my pregnancy. I've had to shorten my shifts from 6 hours to 4, and I haven't been doing nearly the amount of lifting I was before. It includes a lot of lifting for water buckets, hay bales, things like that. But I still want to come and help where I can, because her rescue is run almost entirely by volunteers, so I know she always needs the help. I'll link the rescue down below if you'd like to donate to this amazing rescue. Celia, the owner, really puts 100% of her money, time, and energy into these animals, and she's with the animals all day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And she not only takes care of the animal she has rescued on property, but also facilitates rescues across the United States. So any money that you are able to donate goes a long way. Just finished the shift. It is getting hot outside. It is 80 degrees right now, which is the warmest it's been in a while, to be honest. So my favorite part now is going home and making my lunch. I think about it like the whole time that I'm at the barn. I just love coming home and making a nice lunch, which I have the same lunch every Wednesday. And I'll show you what that is in a little bit. But for right now, I'm just gonna drive home, and then I'm gonna go let Strider out and take him for a little walk around the neighborhood and go ahead and make my lunch. After lunch, I make a coffee, and I normally just make a hot black coffee in the mornings, but because I start my day so early at the barn, I don't have time to drink one until I get home. And when it's hot at the barn like it was today, I make an iced coffee with some almond milk. I started going through the footage that I filmed yesterday to start editing. I always edit in different places around the house, and today I decided to do it from the couch and just watch some YouTubers I just discovered. They're an American family that are renovating a house in Italy, and it's just really inspiring for me to see families do this because it's something Dominic and I really want to do someday. So I guess it just gives me motivation to see other families doing it and keeps me working towards that goal one day. After a few hours of editing, I walked Strider again, feed him dinner, and I took a shower. Then I started cooking dinner. Depending on the day, Dominic and I normally alternate cooking. It depends on what time we get home from work, or sometimes one of us is better at cooking one kind of meal than the other. So on Wednesdays, I always cook since I'm home from about lunchtime onwards, so it's just easier for me to cook. Tonight I'm cooking pasta with some veggies and turkey meatballs. I don't normally eat a lot of meat, but I've been trying to make sure I get enough protein and iron since I've been pregnant, so I've upped my meat consumption to about 2 to 3 times a week. I used to only eat meat a couple times a month, but since it's easy to become anemic during pregnancy, and I've had a history of that before, I don't want to take any risks because that can be really dangerous when pregnant. Then we normally watch TV for a couple of hours before bed.
That was interesting listening to Benny.
And he was like, yep, Arizona made some mistakes, but you know, I'm sure.
I could sit around and wait all day. You lay easy on my mind. Like a candle I just burn away. All we really have is time. All we really have is time.
Just getting ready to go to my Thursday volunteering. So I volunteer at a marine mammal rescue center, which is honestly something I've dreamed about for years and years. It's been an incredible experience. I've been there about a year. Basically what they do is they rescue any marine mammals that are stranded, that are sick, that are malnourished, and we take them in and rehabilitate them. And as soon as they go to the appropriate weight and they're fully healthy, then we release them. For the most part, we get California sea lions, elephant seals, mainly just the yearlings because the adults, we just don't have the capacity to handle them. They're absolutely massive. And then sometimes we get Guadalupan fur seals, which are an endangered species, but we don't get those that often. And then sometimes we get harbor seals as well. Those are the mammals that are treated at the center where I volunteer. I'm not going to be sharing where it is that I volunteer, but I will be able to show you just some kind of little clips of things that I do. Most of it is just kind of, once again, it's animal care. It's just making sure that their pen is clean, getting their food ready. I help administer medication. We also do tube feeding for sea lions and seals that come in that are really malnourished and their babies. Basically to give them just kind of like a kickstart and kind of get their nutrition back on track, gets their weight back on quickly and gets them fed quickly. So I help tube feed babies by restraining them or helping put the tube in. And yeah, that's pretty much it, is kind of just maintaining the facility, making sure that the different mammals are cleaned, they are fed well, and that we look out for any other medical things that need to happen. And on the odd occasion, I've gone to a few rescues, which is always really interesting. And I've also helped on some releases, which the releases are amazing. Like, that's my favorite thing to do. It's just so incredible to see them released back into the wild, into their home where they should be. So that's definitely the most rewarding part of it, is seeing them released back into the wild. So once again, I'm not going to be able to film that much, but hopefully by me talking here, I'm just gonna put some stuff over it. I've always been so interested in animal care for wildlife and rehabilitation and release, and so this has been a great experience for me to have since I've been volunteering here, both at the Horse Rescue and the Marine Mammal Center. So now I'm just going to go and walk Strider again before I leave, and don't really need to film that. You've seen that a few times. It's the same kind of thing. I walk Strider pretty much the same, about like 4 and 5 different routes every week. And then if I have any time, I might just do just a tiny bit more editing and then head out and get to my shift. So Just finished my shift and actually leaving at a decent time, leaving at 6:30, which is pretty good. Well, recently we just haven't had enough volunteers and we've had a lot of patients. I'm getting a lot of elephant seals right now because it's kind of the season when the pups are weaned and then they all go off and try and fend for themselves. Some of them are not as strong as others, so that's how we end up with these malnourished elephant seals. So there are a lot of elephant seals as of right now. So yeah, gonna head home now, feed Strider, take him for a little walk, and then make something quick for dinner. Normally on Thursdays, basically whoever gets home first, either Dominic or myself, will make dinner. And we always try and do something like really quick, like just something that needs to be heated up, and that's it. I might be home first, so I'll go ahead and make a dinner tonight. I don't have a job yet for tomorrow for teaching. Fridays I normally get a job, so I'm actually kind of surprised that I don't have one yet. That doesn't mean I won't. It means that probably 6 a.m. I will get a call and I will work. That is the one thing I really hate about substitute teaching is sometimes I have jobs like really far in advance. So like, for example, next Friday I have a job, so I know that I'm working next Friday as of right now. For tomorrow, I don't know if I'm working yet, and it's just kind of annoying because I wake up at 6 a.m., just kind of sit by the phone in my pajamas in bed and wait to see if I get a call or not. That's just kind of the way it is. That's the one disadvantage to substitute teaching, is that it's really flexible until you just don't know if you're working or not. So yeah, we will see about tomorrow. So my favorite thing happened on Friday in regards to work. I woke up at 6 a.m., didn't get a call for work, so I got up and started a leisurely morning. Then a couple hours later, I got a call to go into a school. The great thing about my company is that I only have to work for 4 hours and I get paid for a full day. Fridays are also shorter days at a lot of schools in the area, so I only had to work for 6 hours total. I was working PE as well, which is a really easy day, and I was able to even do some editing during the planning period. So basically a perfect Friday at work. That was the easiest $200 I've ever made. So yeah, heading home. This is our typical Friday walk. It's just in the town next over from us, and it's at the top of this beautiful hill. It's my favorite walk here, and there's always, in the spring, loads of wildflowers everywhere. So typically after we have our walk, we kind of decide what we want to have for dinner. And Friday is the night that we do our takeout. So it's either normally Mexican or pizza, sometimes Japanese. The point that we're at now, normally I carry Strider up there, but because I'm this far along in pregnancy, it really exhausts me. I don't know if you knew or not, but Strider had back surgery about 3 years ago, IVDD, if you know what that is. And it affects a lot of dogs that have like longer backs, like Bassets and Dachshunds. So the vet suggested that he doesn't walk up really big hills, and so normally I carry him up this hill, but now it's just getting really exhausting, so now Dominic carries him up the hill. I just want to show how like high these wildflowers are. Like, look how they're right up to like almost my shoulder height. It's crazy how big they are. Anyway, we go out after this and we'll go pick it up and then come home. We normally watch something like on Netflix or a movie or something. We watch a lot of like true crime, kind of murder investigations kind of things. So, and that's pretty much our Friday night. Oh, look at him. He's waiting. Oh, you are so cute. That was so cute. Whew, this is the top of the hill. Oh, sun's like coming out. That's the ocean, like way over there. You can kind of see the sun over there. It's really pretty. Really gonna miss doing this walk every Friday. It's been a nice routine since we've lived here. Thank you for making it this far, and I hope you enjoyed watching a snippet into my life here before everything changes. I'm looking forward to continue filming in my new home in England and can't wait to show you around once we all get settled. Remember to leave it better than you found it, and I will see you next time. Crow, like, whatever, why are you so loud, Crow? Okay. Yeah, talking to you. Bit check. and boat. It's so weird. Come on. Cheese tax has been paid.